Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple. Two European giants locked horns at the Wanda Metropolitano as Atletico Madrid hosted Juventus. Sarri and Simeone put their wits against each other, resulting in a fascinating tactical match, which ended 2-2 thanks to goals by Cuadrado and Matuidi for Juve, and Savic and Herrera for Atleti. Although Atleti finished with the superior expected goals. Now, let's dig into the tactics. Just before we get into that though, if you're new around here, I'd appreciate it if you liked, commented and subscribed. If you want to see more match reviews, player and manager profiles, and so much more. Drop video suggestions below or tweet at Football Made Simple. Now, let's get into it. And if you want score updates, statistics, as well as news on your favorite club, a good place to get this is OneFootball, which is the premier football app. So go ahead and download it for free through the link in the description. So a quick reminder of the formations. Atleti lined up in a 4-4-2, which is their usual formation. In response, Juve stuck with Sarri's favoured 4-3-3. So let's take a look at how Atleti attacked with the ball. When deep, Atleti would split their centre-backs wide and allow Partey to drop in between them. At the same time, both fullbacks were given the freedom to advance higher up the pitch. Having three men deep in the build-up allowed them to outnumber Juventus in this region and keep the ball, as Juventus usually defended in a 4-4-2. Saul would often advance into these central areas here, but Juve could switch to a compact three-man midfield, with Matuidi tucking in when required, making it almost impossible to play through this central zone. So, to counter this, Koke was comfortable dropping into the right back zone, away from the traffic in order to get time on the ball and create, while this would also free Trippier to advance, knowing that he was covered. This also gives us a major hint into their main attacking ploy, getting as many crosses into the box as possible, which they managed with 28 to Juve's 22, and more than half of these came from Trippier and Lodi. So how did they achieve this? Well, as discussed, Juve did not press high and instead chose to compact the centre. Ronaldo did not track back, as shown by him having the highest average position, meaning Matuidi had to worry about Koke primarily. At the same time, the backline had to worry about both Felix and Costa. So up front, Atleti also got Lemar to tuck in alongside the front two, meaning that the Juve fullbacks came narrow to maintain the 4 versus 3. Koke simply stepped into the centre to draw Matuidi here, and all of a sudden, Trippier would have the freedom of the flanks, and this was mirrored on the left with Lodi. In fact, Trippier had the highest average position of the entire team, and you can see how central everyone else was. So from here, quick switches were key for Atleti, usually playing around the left-hand side before getting a midfielder to switch to Trippier. This is shown by Partey and Saul getting 9 long balls each during the match. Once the ball was wide, the fact they had so many men central meant they could look to overload the box to get on the end of the cross, with Costa and Felix joined by midfield runners. Although their goals do not come from open play crosses, they're both from aerial set pieces, so Simeone may have identified Juve as having an aerial weakness. Later on in the match, as Juve tired, they didn't always have to go wide. The gaps between the lines grew and grew, meaning Atleti were now able to interchange in this region just outside the box, resulting in several shots from this region. But having both fullbacks this high came with its inherent risks. Good movement means an effective counter-attack against just the centre-backs is very possible, both in the wide areas as well as over the top, and Oblak isn't necessarily a sweeper. This is how Juve opened the scoring. The centre-backs are 2 versus 2 against the forwards. Ronaldo drops, drawing a centre-back and opening up acres of space for the ball over the top to Higuain. Although Atleti have numbers back eventually, defending a counter usually means less organisation, so Cuadrado gets a little extra space, which he doesn't waste. So what did Juve do in controlled possession? Well, they also looked to hold on to the ball, edging out possession with 56%. Danilo was very conservative, playing as a third centre-back when deep. This was to allow Sandro high, as the left-hand side with Matuidi and Ronaldo was attacking the centre of the pitch, so they needed to balance this out with width. In addition, as Atleti always defended in a 4-4-2, they needed the numerical advantage, especially as Atleti actually pressed fairly often, waiting for a poor pass as a press trigger for a man-oriented press to force Juve back. However, as the match went on, the press became disjointed at times, and this is how Matuidi scored. Atleti's press is broken deep through excellent playing out. Koke had shifted across to compact the pitch, but Juve maintained their width. So, the quick switch means there's a 2 versus 1 against Trippier, so he cannot block the cross, resulting in a goal. Just ahead of them, Pjanic held the team together, linking defense to attack with the most passes in the midfield. This would allow Matuidi and Khedira freedom of movement, which was key, because Atletio was so compact, the space in the center was almost non-existent. As a result, both Matuidi and Khedira tended to drift wide to try draw Atleti wider or find the space. With Higuain between fullback and centre-back, Cuadrado would push vertically, and Khedira often moved into this region to get some more space and to give them width where Danilo was deep. But on the other side, they were particularly dangerous. Juve were fluid, using the 4-3-3 and 4-4-2 in defense and attack. When Ronaldo moved left, Trippier always followed him, and the winger was on Sandro. So, Matuidi would burst into this zone and look to cross. Juve had several dangerous situations in this way. But normally, Ronaldo did go central, and this was the cue for them to look for crosses centrally. It was an interesting test for the two teams, but how far do you think each team will go this season? Leave your Champions League predictions below. Again, I've teamed up with Newman, who analysed the Real vs PSG match, so show him some love and go check that video out. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.